Over the last 3 months, our company has helped spend / manage just over, as you can see here, $77,000 in ad spend. And so this is on Facebook and Instagram ads we're talking. And in this video, I'm just going to share with you exactly what works, what doesn't work, and all the lessons that we have learned. So after this, you can literally take everything I said and you can apply it yourself. Or if you're like most guys you work with and you value your time more than you do your money, you can just have us do it for you so you don't have to spend a bunch of time figuring it out, okay? But nonetheless, I will share everything so you can just copy exactly what we're doing and do it yourself. So the first thing that we learned is that with the new Andromeda update that Meta released, I think it was in spring of last year in 2025, nowadays, the way that you structure your campaigns is a lot different, okay? And so what I mean by that is if you know anything about marketing or running ads, back in the day, you would run one ad per ad set and you'd have a bunch of different ad sets so all your ads would spend equally. With Andromeda, that is thrown out the window now. And so now the meta, funny enough, that people use for advertising is launching a bunch of different creatives in one ad set and letting Andromeda, the algorithm behind Facebook, optimize based on who your audience is, which ad is performing the best. And so one of the biggest things, and this is why a lot of companies hire us because they don't have the time to do this, is you need to make a bunch of different unique creatives. Now I'll also tell you which creatives are working best right now, but you need to make a ton of different creatives, right? Most guys don't have time for that. And when we talk a bunch of different creatives, like a bunch of different unique angles. And so not just a few pictures with some text, like you want videos, you want statics, you want collages, you want carousels, you want a bunch of different unique angles. So Facebook has a bunch of different ads to pick from so it can keep running them and testing them to see which one really works for your audience at this given time, because the market is dynamic. It is constantly changing, right? People are changing. Technology is evolving, right? An ad that worked even a month ago might not work today. An ad that worked a year ago might not work today. An ad that worked 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago might not work today, right? And these things change all the time. And so you need to constantly be making new creatives to make sure you're optimizing for your audience pool, okay? If I've already blown you away by half the words I said and you don't understand, that's fine. Selfishly, that's why we run this company. You can hire us to do this for you. But for those of you who do understand the tech side of things, hopefully you can take something from this. That's the first thing that we've really learned. The second thing is this. The ads that you run do not need to be pretty, okay? And as a matter of fact, they do not even need to qualify that well. We have a lot of clients that are a little bit skeptical at first with the ads that we run because they may not look like a perfectly branded commercial, right? They may be a little bit more organic, a little bit more, not as well put together, or they may be not as qualifying. But the reason why this works is if you think of a funnel, right, when it comes to marketing or even in real life, it goes from wide to narrow. And so what we want to do is the first goal with running ads is we want the proper person to see our ad and then to click. We don't need them to buy right then and there. We want them to click. We then want them to fill out their information. We then want them to call us or get a quote. You see what I'm saying? Is like there's steps to the funnel. And so at any given point in time, you're only trying to optimize for the next step. And what I've seen a lot of contractors do wrong, a lot of even bigger companies, is they try to optimize for the sale on the front end. So their ad is trying to sell their service instead of selling the click. And here's what happens. Your CPMs goes up. Facebook doesn't know who to optimize for because it's very difficult to go from an ad to a sale just like this. And so it has a hard time finding your audience, your pocket, if you will, of your customers. Therefore, your CPMs go up, your metrics are going to go down, you're not going to get conversions, and if you don't get a bunch of conversions, you'll get put back in Learning Limited, and your ads will not perform, okay? And so you need to make sure that you have a wide enough funnel, which means you do not need to qualify every single person out right on the ad. You can have a lot of people that see the ad that click, and then what you can do is you can add, because now you have a lot of clicks, your CPMs are going down, you're getting more impressions per dollar spent. Now you can add some more qualifying questions in to filter out the people you don't want, right? And then what you can even do is get a good amount of opt-ins and then filter out more people. Once they opt in, you could ask them a question like, hey, for example, if you're doing custom homes, right? Hey, do you own a lot? No? Okay, disqualified. Yes? Okay, great. Now we've got a customer, and then we can keep going down the funnel. But don't close off your funnel from the get-go, because it's going to make everything harder. There's a really good rule I learned from Alex Hermosi, and it is this. create flow, monetize flow, then add friction. So you just want to get people coming in, even if you have a bunch of tire kickers, so to speak, get a bunch of people coming in, filter out the bad ones after. That's fine. You can still get rid of them, but get them coming in, filter them out, make money from what you're doing. Once you make money, then you can start to add filters. But a lot of guys, a lot of companies come to us and say, oh, we don't want to talk to anyone like this. I get that, right? I used to knock doors for a painting company. It sucks dealing with tire kickers. It sucks driving 2 hours out for an estimate only for the person to say, oh, what? I thought this is going to be way cheaper, right? Those things suck. But from an ad perspective, purely from an ad perspective, you want to create flow first before you start adding a bunch of qualification questions, a lot of friction that you may or may not know if it's even going to work, okay? Another thing I'll throw in here is the type of ads we're running. What's working well right now is like before and afters, right? Just showing people, hey, here's the before, here's the after, right? Showing people a visual of what could happen to their home if they were to get renovation done, for example, right? Showing that has been working really well for us right now. Maybe it won't work in a month. We'll keep finding out. We'll keep having our media team analyze what's working and what's not working and then adjust as need be. But as of right now, that is an ad angle that's working really well. The next thing I want to talk about is people that just don't, like the next, I guess, thing that I've learned is a lot of guys don't set up Facebook ads properly. And so then a lot of people say, oh, Facebook sucks, the leads suck. Well, yeah, because you didn't know who to target. You didn't know what ads to make. You didn't know what conversion events to trigger. And you didn't know what qualification questions to add. If you just run a blanket ad that says, hey, we'll help you renovate your home. Okay, you might get a lot of clicks and maybe you have no qualification questions. You just have a simple Facebook lead form. You're going to get a ton of people filling it out just because. Right? Or maybe, for example, your ad is just a nice picture of a home. And a lot of people are clicking because they just want to see the nice picture of the home. They don't necessarily want to convert or anything or even get a quote from you, for example. And they may click and accidentally filter information. And now you get a lot of spam leads, a lot of junk leads, a lot of uninterested leads. But that's a byproduct of you not knowing what you're doing. Me being honest, okay? Because Facebook works extremely well. Ask the company spending millions of dollars on it every single month. It works, right? But it only works if you know what you're doing. Right? For example, what's a good example? Driving standard works and it's fun and it's good, but it's going to be difficult for somebody that does not know how to drive standard. It doesn't mean that standard sucks or is impossible to do. It's a skill issue. If you don't have the skills, it's going to be difficult and you're going to say, oh, that sucks, that's bad, right? And so that's another thing. I'm just free flowing off the top of my head. I'm trying to give a couple more things, but I honestly think those are the most important things. And those are the most crucial things that I've personally learned over the past few months and spending close to $100,000 on these ads. And so there's a couple things there that I think have made the biggest difference. And I'll give you one more, which is that if you have a campaign that is working and you are making money from it and you are getting some qualified leads, of course you're always going to have bad ones, but you're getting some good ones and they're converting and things are going well, do not turn off that campaign. Spend more money because I promise you from experience, at one point or another, that campaign will stop performing. And you will now be having to restart all over and spend even more money than you did before trying to find out another campaign, another ad, or another angle that's going to work. And so what we've learned is when you have a campaign that's running well, spend as much money as you possibly can because at some point or time, that ad will not work. You will turn the ad off. You will not be able to spend any money because you'll be trying to come up with new ad angles. You'll be making new ads, etc. And you now have a bunch more money coming in because once you had a winner, spend money on the winner because you may never find a winner as good as that one. We've had that happen personally, and it is infuriating to think about how much money you could have made if you had just spent more money on that initial ad, especially in the home improvement space where most guys spend like $1,000 to close a job that might make them anywhere from $20,000 to $200,000. If you have a campaign that's working and you've got crews that can deliver and do good work for the jobs you're closing, spend more money because at some point it won't work and then you'll have to redo it again. Okay, so I hope that made sense and I hope that was some value. I didn't hold anything back. I tried to share everything that I possibly could think of. And so you can take this and you can go run your own ads, or if this was too crazy, a lot of words you didn't know, or maybe you just don't have the tech skills like most guys you work with, or the time, which is another big thing, and you want someone to do this for you to generate you good, high quality, exclusive leads from Facebook and Instagram, from people clicking on your own ad in real time, chat with us. Maybe what we do works for you, maybe it doesn't. You can click below, you can chat, you can see a 3-minute video that kind of breaks down exactly what we do. So I look forward to chatting with you, and I hope that this helped.